Hello guys, today I'm gonna show you something pretty cool, but before that I gotta tell you a little story. I always loved handheld gaming. When I was a little kid I had a Game Boy and that was a lot of fun. I also had a Game Gear. I was a lucky kid. At some point in my life I had a PSP and then I always wanted to beat up. I never had a chance to get it because buying games and memory card and that stuff just costs too much money. It's not exactly worth it for a few titles that I might be interested in. So I always try to find a way to have mobile gaming going on. That's why you see a lot of DIYs on my Android phones to be running emulators and things like that. However, well, the emulator for the more current generation consoles, not exactly available. There is PSP emulator, but for the most part, those phones I have doesn't run it very good, or maybe I didn't play the settings well enough. So on Android I had a couple of games that I purchased, including Horizon Chase. That's a pretty good arcade racing game. It's a console-like game, so I think you should check that out. I will put a little description down below. And then of course the RBI Baseball 14, when it first came out. That game was pretty cool at first, and it got pretty boring pretty quickly. Again, it's an arcade game, even though it's console-like, but arcade game just didn't have as much as a full-fledged AAA games on the consoles these days. Those things are more like mimicking what was it like back in the 90s. So I got an iPad. Well, and I was looking at what this iPad had available. I always had this feeling that on iDevice there's a lot more that AAA titles there might be. I never really looked into it, but I was just sort of searching out and I found something interesting. And I'm going to show you that because I think for AAA games or console-like games, this one I like. So here's the thing about mobile gaming. Most of the mobile games were made for the mobile device, even though they might have the similar names and stuff like that. It would be the mobile version. So to find a console-like version of the game that's on the console or PC, it's kind of rare. There are a few titles. Most of the ones that I know of are RPGs or basketball game, perhaps. There's NBA Live, but just really not a lot of titles. But especially racing games, I didn't see much of any that come from consoles really. But I saw this, and then I do a really quick research on YouTube, and I thought this probably going to be a decent experience. So I purchased from Apple Store, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So let me show you about it. It's basically, for the most part, let me just turn this down a little bit. For the most part, it's a lot like the PC version that I have. And look at that graphic. The graphic's actually very good. It's not the kind of graphic that I would be expecting to see. Just move this a little bit. Generally, on the mobile gaming, well, I didn't see this game available on Android, so I just had to try out this one. It's pretty cool. I'll just turn this up now. Look at this, the graphics pretty decent on this. Oh. Yeah, I'm no longer used to turning the whole tablet like that. So right now I have the control scheme of turning the steering wheel by turning the tablet itself. pressing the right side of the screen to accelerate and the left side of the screen to brake. That's basically it. And to pause the game is conveniently located at the bottom left of the screen, so that's pretty good. And the game itself also have the rewind button, just like its console port. So I say this port is pretty decent. And then it's running a decent frame rate. I don't know what the frame rate is, but at least it looks decent. It's not 60 for sure. It's not 60 frames, but no, it's decent, it's playable. Just like playing on consoles. And then you do have other view angles as well. Here's the camera options. You can change it to, here's the bumper. Let's take a look at bumper. Here's the bumper one. And the front bumper. And you also have the dash cam, the head cam. The head cam will be the driver's seat cam. It's pretty alright, I think. By default, the game have 3 different control styles. One will be the tilt, that's what you just saw. The other one will be the wheel touch. In the wheel touch, you have the steering wheel on the left where you can turn left and right, and there's an acceleration and the brake button will be right above it. The rest of it is very similar. So that's one of the way. And then the next one will be wheel touch. Oh, Wheel Touch Pro. I guess the different settings for each kind of control. And this is the arrow. The arrow will be you press the right and the left to turn right and the left, and it will automatically accelerate. And you hold on to the top of the screen to brake. Yeah, so there's 3 controls, but I couldn't get that to work on my generic game controller for the mobile devices that I reviewed the other day. So that part, too bad. But yeah, so you know, I think it's just really cool to have AAA games that's, you know, the console like AAA games on mobile. That's something mobile games really needs. The biggest problem that I see with mobile games is this microtransaction or mobile game, you know, and mobile game business models that they have right now, where, you know, whatever you want to do, you have to pay more. You know, a lot of us still like to play video games with good story, single player, you know, or full feature instead of just a bunch of mini games like most of the mobile games are like. Not everybody is into video games for the competitive nature of the games. A lot of us are actually casual gamers where we're not really in it for a game or two, but really in it for immersive experience of the game. So console gaming is still the way to go. So if mobile gaming can be like console gaming a little bit more, it will actually be a lot better. I mean, most of the game I see on Apple Store or Play Store are really just, you know, mini games or something clever, or, you know, but there's always just things that doesn't really hold much water. You'd be playing it for a while, you get bored of it, you never remember what they are. But this is sweet. Things at Real Racing 3 is pretty nice, but things at Real Racing 3 has a lot of limitation too. I'd rather just have a full-fledged full game like this, just like it's, you know, a console port or the PC port, instead of a game where you can experience the driving and, you know, but then for everything else, the gameplays and stuff like that are very limited, or you have to work hard to get features in the game. That's just, you know, it's not just, it's just something that I can't get used to. I wish they can do a better controller support. Just support generic controller. That would be great. Just like on the PC where you can select controllers That would have been awesome. Or even, you know, if you're attached to a keyboard and it would automatically detect the keyboard or something like that, you know.